Hey Roger, hope all is well. It's so funny because today on Twitter, I think it's David Law Tennis or whatever, but he's like, oh my gosh, the off season seems like it's going on forever, and I just laugh in response to him because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so true. It feels like it's going on forever. But at the same time, I'm so glad you guys are having a bit of a break, even though you're playing in South America now. And how is that? I hope you're having a great time. Oh, yeah, I actually saw you buried in the sand up to your neck. Oh, you know what? Thinking about it, I guess maybe you haven't started. Huh. I don't know. Well, I don't know how old that picture is, but it appeared on your Facebook page via Twitter. A lot of people tweeted it out, and then the USA Today had also reported on it as well. I know it was a big deal. But you look quite cozy, buried in the sand. I'm gonna have to put that on my life list. What does that feel like to be buried in the sand or whatever? The cutest thing was that you could see the little handprints press the sand down around your neck. So that was really cute. But anyway, enough of the small talk. I'm just checking in very briefly, and just wanted to touch base with you to just talk about next season. But now that I am actually talking about next season, I'm kind of like, maybe it's a little premature. So maybe I'm having a second thought about talking about it right now. But yeah, I guess it's now just a time to rejuvenate, relax, just refresh, have fun in South America. All of those good things that I'm sure you're gonna do anyway. But yeah, I think I'll leave this video. It doesn't even say, I'm not even saying anything in it, but I'm gonna leave it the way it is and I'm gonna upload it. Oh, what the hell? I'll do it. So anyway, let's just count this video as just wishing you well. Hoping you have a great time with your family and America and the girls and everybody's just having a wonderful time. What's it look like? Beautiful place where you were. I always wanted to go to the Maldives, or some people say Maldives, other people say Maldives, like tomato. So I'll have to make it out there one day. But have fun. Oh yeah, I know what I can talk about is that I think it's an exciting development actually. You structured your schedule different. It's caused like a little, a ripple in the tennis world. Some people are trying to take it in a really positive way. Other people are trying to take it in a negative way. Not many people in a negative way, but I think a lot of these reporters, just do the obvious. They try to point articles so that they can get a lot of response and a lot of readership. So it's also a good sign you're very extremely relevant. I'm looking forward to you putting in your bid to get back to number one, and I know that's going to be a nice little steady race and run, and I don't know if that's even your first goal. I think more of the goal is to just, naturally what it normally is just to simply win, and then you'll naturally ascend back to number one. Because I have to tell you, when they're writing in the articles now, Roger Federer, world number two. It always messes me up a little bit. Like, wait a minute, world number two? No. Two and Roger Federer not associated. And wow, that actually came out very naturally, but it's not like a kiss ass thing. It's like, when I give a compliment to someone, it's very well merited, or it's of high merit, or it's definitely earned by you, if I have not used the English word of merit correctly. But yeah, no, it just number two and Roger Federer just don't exactly mix. I mean, it's good enough for now. That's kind of good. Maybe the draw will be better for you, because I think a lot of the guys. If it's anything like last year where you were actually at number three, that maybe some of the draws will be a little lighter. But I guess Murray's moved to number 3, so he'll be constantly going up against Djokovic. If Rafa comes back, you're going to be going up against him, and oh my God, I cannot wait. So all I say is, Roger, now is the time to really get buckled down and all of the things that you didn't want to do or spend time on before. And I know you don't have a lot of time. I know you probably have, legitimate family demands and your own personal whatever. But now is the time, because you are going to end up going up against Rafa a lot, and I think you should really definitely have all your ducks in a row, especially mentally, mental resolve, get the nerves, get them out, figure out what are you making up about a match. Like, oh my gosh, what if I lose? Oh my gosh, what if I don't make it? Oh my gosh, what if Rafa does better than me? Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on, but I do know the process of fear, the process of making up stuff, the process of making up thoughts that generate a lot of nervousness, that completely make you veer away from any capability in order to focus. So it's important to really sit down before a match and say, how do I want to go into this match? How do I want to play against, how do I want to handle my rivalries? Or not even say handle, but how do I want to approach my rivalries in every second, every moment, every point, every game, every set. And I think if you continue to handle it like that, you're going to do as well as you did at Wimbledon, because I know you were doing that there. You were doing it damned well. So I think that's really a good thing. At this point in time, there's no room on the bus or the car, whatever you want to call it. There's no room for any nervousness or any sort of distractions, which is for you, in my opinion, is a lot of nervousness. So there's no room for that, given what you want to do. The road to number 1 is a vehicle you're going to get into is probably like a 2 or 3-seater. It's dedication, which you already have. It's capability, which you already have, and focus. And you have that as well. There's only a couple of seats for all the positive stuff. There's no room for any distraction. There's no room in that car. The road to number 1, the road to more Grand Slams, the road to defending your points. There's no more room. So I think it's important to really think about that. Really sit down and when you have a moment, and really sort of check out what are your thoughts when you think of going against Rafa or even Djokovic now, or even Berdych, those guys who are able to kind of give you a little trouble here and there and stuff, and you do the same to them, but it's all about how you're handling it. But the way in what you're handling it is also what conclusions are you making up in your mind? Oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. Oh my gosh, it's going to be difficult. Oh my goodness, I don't know. This person's gotten the best of me in the past, and and then the news is going to be writing about it, the media. Notice. Really sit down and notice, how far do you let your mind run away with stories? We all do it, please. We all do it. But that's an important thing, I think, too, is you're on vacation a little bit, have time to relax, and I can't tell you what to do. What you need to do on your vacation is, I'm not saying that, but it'd be good while you have quiet time and time to actually reconnect with yourself, one of the few times in the year is to just be able to focus and go into your thought process and figure out, what am I making up? What am I allowing to just take me off course and generate a lot of nervousness and a distraction, which is result in a certain drop in focus or a drop in accuracy. So I think it's important to look at those things again and know as well, it's kind of for me, like I said, you look for me really nervous at the ATP World Tour Finals. it was fine. You were handling yourself well. You didn't look like you were out of sorts. You didn't look like anything that I've ever described. Like when I said in Wimbledon 2008 and Australian Open 2009, I could tell when you came out on those courts, you already had almost like a shadow on your face or whatever. World Tour Finals wasn't like that at all. You were very composed, extremely composed, but I could still tell you were nervous. I could be wrong. You could be like, I wasn't nervous at all, but I kind of don't believe that. But there's always that possibility. I felt you were nervous, and I feel like the more that you work on what the mind is making up, and you can also even look at it and just embrace the fear and hold the hand as if it was one of those kids the tennis players walk out onto the court with, and just really sort of hold your own fears, hold the hand of your fears and just sort of comfort them and say, you know what, the ones you can get rid of and extinguish by saying, you know what, I'm letting these thought process run away. This is not true. It hasn't even happened. And then those you kind of can't get rid of, it's like just talk to them and seriously, just do whatever you need to do in order to make room for it to calm down so you can focus. But what I wanted to say is that, you have this thought process that isn't necessarily realistic. You begin to generate these thoughts and make up this I don't want to say false reality, but it is. It's a non-existent reality that you're creating. It hasn't happened yet. It's not even necessarily guaranteed to be true. What if I lose? What if I do this? Then the media, they're going to be talking about me, saying that I need to do this and I need to do that, and then it's always this thing with Rafa. It's always this thing with Djokovic. So my thing is that at the end of the day, that thinking, la 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 la, that kind of thinking gets you the loss anyway. And what does it feel like to be on the wrong side of the win? The side you don't want to be on. What happens? Nothing, really. You go on to the next event. You dig yourself a little hole in the sand and you post a picture on Facebook. Seriously, I'm not making a joke, and I'm just saying, like. That's a really good thing, like, in the moment, like, when you start this whole mental dialogue again, that's feeling the nerves that are feeding into lack of focus and then feeding into the errors, like, is this true? Like I said, like, that woman Byron Katie, I was talking about or whatever. I haven't even studied her that much, but I really give her a lot of credit for... she has very similar principles to what I'm talking about right now. So just really getting a grip on what is true, what the mind is making up, and also just getting yourself centered and grounded, and don't fall out of that habit. Like, even make a checklist and get a support system. And let's say, before I get in the match, I'm going to sit down and figure out, what am I making up? What am I not making up? How do I want to go into this match? How do I want to handle adversity? How do I want to come out of this match on the other side? So that's really terrific. You've been through this road, down the road of allowing the nervousness to drive in the front seat. Not driving in front. Allow the nervousness to be the one driving at the wheel, but you want to be confident and centered, and that's the person that you want driving, and taking control. So you have, when you have been on the other side and you let nervousness drive, it's kind of like, think about it in real life, like kind of like letting a bad driver drive. Where does it get you? They take you down the wrong road, they get to the wrong destination, and that's what the nervousness does. It takes you down the road and you get errors, and you losing games, you're losing the sets, and then you're doing things that you normally wouldn't even do, and then you're ending up at the wrong destination, which is on the wrong side of the win. It's kind of like asking to go, I don't know, somewhere, it's like asking to go, to the Empire State Building, but instead somebody takes you to George Washington Bridge or something like that, you know. So, it's a really good thing to think of. Like, who do you want driving? Who do you want in the driver's seat as far as when you're going to be competing? And I will say this, like, there was one point, ATP World Tour Finals, where you had made such sorry, love you, but I'm just saying, outrageous error. I have to say it was so outrageous, it was so, I say outrageous in a nasty way, but outrageous, like, so wildly surprising, incredulous is the word. You had made an error that actually Paul Anaco. I'm sorry. I'm so not laughing at you, I swear. I swear, I love you, I swear. I'm not laughing at you. I'm saying it. The error was so incredulous, so wildly incredulous, that even Paul Anaco, who is ridiculously stoic, I mean, Paul Anaco sits through all your matches like this. I don't know how to do it or whatever, but he sits there, he never makes a face, never. Even when you win, he still sits there with that same face. You had made this error at World Tour Finals against Djokovic, and it was just so incredulous. It was unbelievable that even he was like, oh. I forgot to tell you in the last video. So I'm not saying this to attack you or put you down. I'm just saying this in a way to support you that, again, people believe in your highly uncanny high level of talent. So, they get very surprised by these errors. So anyway, I just wanted to put that little tidbit in. I thought that was really funny because I've seen him sit through matches for a really long time, and I've seen you even win. Like I said, he never makes a face. It's always a jaws. So anyway, yeah. So I think that's really important. And again, of course, I'm not going to bore you with Michael Gervais name dropping again. But yeah, I think that's good. Build up the mental fitness, seriously. Just because you've done this well for a really long time doesn't mean that you can't use to improve in a certain area. Or just hone, like even a pencil that's perfectly sharp needs to be sharpened again. And as you reach new levels of evolution, which you have and other players have as well, they're putting you into a different realm, so to speak. I guess as other players have evolved and they sort of, put the effects of their evolution on you, there's another realm to ascend to in order to continue to be stimulated and evolve. And I know you know all of that because you want to continue to practice, so I don't want to try to make it seem like, oh, you're just living, and not changing. But anyway, I made this into a long video, but I just wanted to say that, and I hope you can actually hear my voice. And yeah, the nervousness thing, I think you gotta work with that. But and I have some other important stuff that came up, but I'm gonna end this video, so I will talk to you soon. Good luck with everything. Please think about this. And while you're on vacation, if this is the right thing for you, because I don't want to tell you what to do while you're on vacation. Once everything settles down and you're ready to go on to the next thing after you've had a real time to relax, really think about how you really you want to enter into this season with, just doing your best with nothing to lose and everything to win, but you also want to give yourself a chance, and how you're going to give yourself the biggest chance at this point, because I feel like you have the skill. You're beating these guys. You know they give you trouble and all that, but you're beating them for the most part. So you'll figure that out. You'll work on the strategy and stuff like that. You'll end up breaking down the games. But I think it's the mental resolve. Too much mental dialogue gets in the way. It comes in on the court, and then it's really taking the front seat of your games, like I said. So. Yeah, so I think just figuring out that, like, how do you want to go into this? How do you want to figure out how to work with your mind before you get on court? What do you want? How do you want to play Rafa? How do you want to be in relationship with your rivalry? How do you want to ascend to the next level? How do you want to thrive? Be the one to thrive throughout the rivalry with Rafa, with Djokovic. Now, you got multiple rivalries, just like all of them do, but I'm just saying. So anyway, that's my piece. Sending mad love, you, Mirka, and the girls. Have a good one. Bye.